out by the aquarium, and took he and Rick a couple of hours after that to find it, and I was sitting here yelling at my iPad, turn left, and it never happened, but thanks Jeffrey for that. Anybody else got anything for Jeffrey before we let him go? Come with your name and call sign.
My dad got called out there, but just fascinated by hearing in real time all the radio traffic. Moved on into, high school, took a general electronics class that was, I guess, what would be considered an SDR now, but a huge PCI computer card plugged into a computer, and you ran software and you could listen to all kinds of stuff. Didn't really put it together then that it needed a bigger antenna, so all I was really catching was very local FM kind of stuff. Then fast forward to COVID and HT. Fairly inexpensive one, not the bottom of the line, but
that's a great story. Well, let's see if anybody's got anything for Steve.
I remember, I can see the classroom. I can remember the teacher's name was Richard Lorette, French guy, and I can remember the classmates holding up a series of wires with gators, diodes, etc. And I just can't remember the tuning device, so I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. I built a little handheld, or not handheld, but a little circuit board project receiver when I was in electronics class, and we tuned by moving a ferrite slug in and out of it was home wound. It was a home wound inductor. So that's pretty cool. I just figured I'd ask if you had the same experience when I went to high school in the early 2000s. KG5, KPJ, back to Ness.
Very cool. Anybody else got anything for Steve 5 UKF before we let him go? All right. Well, have a good night, Steve, and hopefully you'll stick around. And thanks again for doing the questions. Hopefully we'll get you in here. You'll be doing net control before you know it. And with that, we got to let you know you're listening to the Thursday Night Net, brought to you by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club. Call sign N5OAK. My name is Rusty, WZ5VBS. I'm your net control for tonight. This net's about the club, or to become a member. Visit us online at N50. That is the end of round number 1. So we got to start up round number 2. If you've been sitting here listening to everybody's stories and you want to chime in, show up with your name and your call sign, and we'll get you here on round number 2. Y'all come on with it.
Alpha India 5, Oscar Sierra. This is.
All right, I got you, Rod, and then I got somebody else that wanted to come in. Come on with it.
This is Alpha India 5, Oscar Sierra. This is Kilo India 5, Romeo Bravo Tango, Kent in Pflugerville, no traffic. Kind of get her back on the band. She's expressed a real interest in getting her license, so that'll be fun. She's 12 going on 13, so I'm excited to try to get her involved with it. I was reading something about hams were able to do some service work, and just the fact that you could take this little radio and have it on your desk and have a wire up in a tree and talk to people all over the world. And I was a scout as well. I was a Boy Scout, and it was part of my merit badge. And then I found out you could talk to literally people out of this world at the Ash Space Station, and that got me hooked. So I got my NOCO Tech then, and in 2000, and I said I'm going to go back and take my get my general. Well, I think it was then. It may have been before then actually. 2003, I think I went and took my general test. Well, I failed the theory, but I passed the code like at 30 words a minute the first time, because it was just like, hey, I being a musician and such, it was easy to kind of pick up the code, and I studied for about a week and got CW going. Well, then 2014 rolls around. I finally start playing with HF, and I got tired of people going, "Hey, you're out of band. You're out of band. Get up to this part of the band." So then I went and crammed and took the theory and got my extra. And my extra was to solve a problem. And so I've just always liked radio. The camaraderie, the things you can do with it, and everything else. It's just a wonderful hobby to be a part of. There really is nothing quite like it.
You are correct, man. It's something that's very fun. You win the award. You're the first person to time out the repeater for the net so far, man. So congratulations to you for making that happen. I wish I had done this long ago. I did not have an Elmer. I would say YouTube was my Elmer. And that's fine. It taught me things, and it showed me all the things that I needed, but it would have been fun to have an Elmer that, made me build my own radio and taught me that way. I'm very much a hands-on learner. So that is one of the things that I'm kind of disappointed in, but I'm doing it backwards. I got all my education first, and now I'm figuring out what in the world I just learned, from here until there. So anybody got anything for Justin, AI5OS tonight? Come on with it.
W5NDS.
Yes, sir, Rod.
A quick message for you, Justin. I talked with a friend of mine about the talking watt meter, and he has an Elecraft W2 watt meter that he can read with his computer, and that's how he checks his output power. So maybe you can think about getting one of those. W5NDS.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a good idea. I've been looking. I picked up an amp through a trade, and I'm looking for a solution that I can use to try to use this amp, because I'm afraid that it's as good as it is. It's not tenable in that I can't tell what it's doing, and I have to guess. Okay, this is working, and so I am afraid at some point I might be wrong. So I'm kind of looking for an amp that eventually may work a little better with knowing what I'm dealing with, when I'm transmitting, because these are expensive radios and you don't want to blow them up.
All right, anybody else got anything for Justin tonight?
Learning your groupings, right? So one is, I started out with numbers, believe it or not. One, da-da-da-da-da, two, da-da-da-da-da. Learning the numbers. That's kind of where I started. And then I went on to learning some different groups of letters. And I don't know, I'm not really sure. My brain just kind of picked it up. And I had to learn, because I could do it in my head, but then I could hear them in my head, and my trick was learning how to decipher it down on paper so that I could read what I wrote. And I had to think in terms of, hey, I'm only doing a letter at a time, and try to anticipate what somebody's sending. You just merely need to think letter at a time. One letter at a time, and don't try to get ahead of yourself, because you'll end up getting wrong. I mean, this is not, you can't predict what somebody's sending, so you just have to copy letter by letter. I think that was the big aha moment, is when I realized I just have to take this letter by letter, and
Nothing heard. Well, have a good night, Justin, and we'll see you next week. We're going to move down to Rod, W5NDS. Rod loves sweet things, so I bet you he's had some dessert tonight. And for those of you that don't know, Rod also knows how to water some towers. He's got some mighty fine towers in the backyard. So Rod, how are you tonight? What you been up to? And I'm so curious, what got you into ham radio?
Well, okay, Rusty, and hi to everybody on the net. Well, I had some sopapillas for lunch. That's as good as it's gotten so far, Rusty. I got into ham radio in the AM days, just after end, but one night I tuned up at the end of the high end of the broadcast band, and I heard a guy talk, and he was calling CQ, actually. He was over in Canada, and so that got me curious. He told me that, let me reset here. But I found out there was a ham operator in my school, an older guy that had a license, and I'd learned the Morse code. I had a little gadget that had a buzzer in it, and I learned the code, and I had it in my. I studied up and got my first license in '51, and progressed. There was no novice license at that time, so I went upgrade so I could operate on some of the. Chugging along with the hobby, and had some cold, periods of one ran warm and cool, but I kept up with the hobby, and finally got into single sideband in the '60s, just so I could operate whenever I wanted to. And that, in the short, is, and I'm still messing around with single sideband and FM repeaters, and Lord help me.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, sopapillas for lunch, man. That's you and I are kindred spirits there, man. And just on a side note, I'm talking to some guys about coming over to add some more antennas to your lovely antenna garden. So figure out what needs to go where. I know we found a couple of extra pairs that are open. So we're gonna put together a second field trip, and we'll bring the tower monkeys with us and get them up there and see if we can't get you some stuff strung up and headed up to go. So for those of you that don't know, Rod is also a musician as well. So if anybody has any questions for Rod, bend his ear, get in here with your name and call sign. Well, they're just too shy tonight, Rod. All right, man. Well, as always, it's good to hear your voice in here. Thanks for checking in on the net, and I'll be in touch for our second field trip, see if we can't get some more antennas growing over there in the backyard. Kent, KI5RVT, is at the end of our round number 2. He checked in no traffic, and I know he's been feeling like crud the past couple of weeks, but maybe, just maybe if he's still listening, we can see what got him into ham radio. Kent, are you still out there?
Yeah, I'm here. I went through a lot of the same stuff as everybody else, walkie-talkies and stuff. I had scanners back in the 90s when I lived in Corpus. About 2 years ago, I started playing around with SDRs and started listening to those, so let me break. And then a year ago, we had a big snowstorm or ice storm, and we were without power, we were without communication. And I said, never again will I be in the same state. Now I've got like 6 radios, I've got 2 generators. I've got a backup battery power unit. I've just kind of got full prepper. So this is kind of where I am with ham radio. AI5RBT.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for sharing your story. And for those of you who play trivia, y'all know good and well who Kent is. This man knows anything about everything and a little bit more, and we call him the trivia robot. He and Ben, and I wonder if Ben still has his blue hair, but he and Ben are always with us on Friday night. Thanks for checking in, Kent, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow if you're not feeling like crud. Well, that is the bottom of round number 3, so we got to let you know you're listening to the Thursday Night Net, brought to you by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5OAK. My name is Rusty, WZ5BBS. I'm your net control for tonight. This net happens every Thursday at 8 p.m. It's almost a quarter till 10. For more details about the club or to become a member or join us on the Discord, visit us online at n5oak.org. It is time for round number 3, so if you've been hanging out and you weren't quite sure, now's the time to do it. Give us your name and your call sign, and we want to know how you got into ham radio.
Okay, net control. My name is Gardner. That is Golf Alpha Romeo Delta November Echo Romeo. Call sign is Kilo Golf number 5 Foxtrot Romeo Quebec.
All right, KG5FRQ, I got your call sign, but as soon as you were saying your name, I had a bunch of noise come through. So give me your name once again, please, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, my name is Gardner. That is Golf Alpha Romeo Delta November Echo Romeo. QSL?
QSL. All right, we got you in the log. Anybody else want to check into round number 3 on the Thursday Night Net?
WB5TXW.
WB5TXW. George, we got you in here. Anybody else want to check in on the Thursday Night Net? All right, well, let's go talk to Gardner, KG5FRQ. How are you tonight, and what got you into ham radio?
Well, hello everybody at the University of Texas and this net. This is KG5FRQ. I am located in Carlsbad, New Mexico, and glad to be a part of this net. Thanks for accepting my call to the net. Basically, well, I learned a lot about electronics. I had 3 different Elmers before I became an actual amateur radio operator, technician, and then 2007 I upgraded to general. Anyway, long-time CB operator and always will be, due to the fact of my grandfather who got me into it. And to have other means of communications when emergency calls upon it. I plan on getting my GMRS license and setting up a GMRS station over here in Carlsbad. And gee whiz, let me reset real quick. Okay, well, weather-wise, it was 106 degrees today. Very, very, very hot, very dry. And anyways, back over to net control. Thanks for letting me come in once again. This is KG5FRQ. Frequency. We'll be standing by.
Roger. Well, hey, man, thanks for checking into the net. So you said you're a long-time CV guy. So what handles did you go by on the CV?
Well, I've shot a lot of DX. I've talked into, matter of fact, Austin, Texas several times, all over the state of Texas and beyond. I'm known as the Caveman, Unit 507. And for those that have heard of me on the radio before, not on amateur radio, but here's the band, I want to wave a hand at you as well. What a lot of people don't realize in the amateur radio community is that there is a lot of CBers also who are very technical and very tech savvy and also have their ham radio license. So anyways, I'm one of them. Glad to be one. KG5, FRQ, back to net control.
Roger, Roger, man. I love it. All right. Anybody on the net got anything for Gardner tonight? Come on with it. Oh, we had a double there, so let's try that one more time.
W5NDS.
Go on, Rod.
Well, I want to welcome Gardner over there in Carlsbad. Gardner, I know about a fellow who has a GMRS repeater that he's trying to peddle. His call sign is November Alpha 5 Romeo Charlie, radio control. And I don't know if that would be of any help to you, but you could look him up and maybe contact him, and or maybe you got things over there you can build your own. But yeah, that's another aspect of the radio hobby. W5NDS.
Comment?
Go right ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, thank you for the information. I don't know how to get a hold of the fellas, so if you can, send him an email and try to tell him to reach me on the 147.280 machine. That's 147280. Tone will be 123.0. Roger.
Yeah, copied that, but I'll see if I can contact him and give him your call sign. He's over here in Central Texas, so he wouldn't be able to reach your repeater over there in Carlsbad.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right, back to net. KG5, FRQ.
Thank you, Rod, for chiming in there. Anybody else got anything for Gardner before we let him go?
KVJ.
Go ahead, Garrett.
Hey, Gardner. Glad you checked in. I was kind of curious because Carlsbad, I believe, is on the western side of New Mexico. How you reaching into us?
Yes, sir. Okay, so what I've done is I'm on Echolink on a Samsung Galaxy Alpha 7 tablet, and I got the Echolink program downloaded onto it, and found the UT of Austin, Texas, so I thought, well, what the heck, why not? Back to you.
Roger that. Appreciate you coming back. KG5, KVJ, back to net.
All right. Anybody else got anything for Gardner out in Carlsbad, New Mexico? Nothing heard. All right. Well, Gardner, thanks for stopping by, man, and hanging out with us. We're here every Thursday at 8 p.m., so if you're bored next week, come and hang out. We also have the Trivia Net going tomorrow at 9, so we'd love to have you. Let's go chat with George, WB5TXW. George, how are you tonight, and what got you into ham radio, sir?
I am fine. WB5TXW here. I had a brilliant future, and then I got involved with ham radio. It's been all downhill. I got involved probably because I grew up with shortwave radio. I grew up with more radio than television. And eventually in the 70s, I had friends who were studying for their licenses, and I did too. And the rest is history. Over.
Roger, Roger, man. Well, there you have it. That's how George got into ham radio. Anybody got anything for George, WB5TXW?
Yeah, I'll wave a hand at W5TXW, just waving a hand at you and saying hello. Anyway, back to net control.
Likewise, I've been to Carlsbad. I have relatives in New Mexico. It's certainly a different country and a different state of mind. I thought of moving out there, you know. I like it. Over.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you still can, come on. We got plenty of room.
Yeah, it could happen. But I've lived here in Austin, Texas for 52 years, which is probably older than most of the people on this net. And you know, anyway, you know, you stay in one place long enough and you're not ready to be a stranger in somebody else's small town. In any event, do y'all have internet out there? Maybe. You must have electricity. Anyway, copy this down. Whiskey at ARRL.net. And shoot me an email sometime. WBW at ARRL.net. And we'll habla con blah blah. WB5TXW, over.
Yeah, WB5TXW, right? Email pretty soon and give you all my and we'll shoot the breeze over the phone or however we can. Matter of fact, I'm definitely going to add this repeater to my favorites on Echo Link, and thank you, Net Control, for the open discussion type of net. I really enjoy these type of nets. Anyways, Net Control, back to you, KG5, FRQ.
All right, yeah, nothing like making some friends across state lines. All right, anybody else got anything for George, WB5TXW, before we let him go? All right, nothing heard. Well, thanks for hoblahing and blah-blahing with us, George. We certainly appreciate it. We're at round number 4, believe it or not, and before we can get into that, we've got to let you do one more thing. We got to tell you you're listening to the Thursday Night Net, brought to you by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club. Call sign N5OAK. My name is Rusty, WZ5VBS. I'm your net control for tonight. This net happens every Thursday at 8 p.m. For more details about how to become a member, visit us online at n5oak.org. We're going to open up round number 4 if you want to get in there on Echolink, DMR, AllStar, however it is, wherever you are. We would love to chat with you. Come with your name and call sign now. Oh, don't tell me we're not going to get anybody in round 4. Nobody out there wants to check in. This is all right, nothing heard. We're going to shut the net down, but before we do that, we're going to send this over to Ernesto, and he's going to tell you all about all the things we got going on in Austin, Texas. We have a very active club here, and also between us and the Austin Ham Radio Club and the Williamson County Club, you can play radio every day of the week. We got something for you to do. So, Ernesto, KI5PZN, if you would please, let everybody know that's listening how we can play radio in Austin, Texas.
This is KI5PZN. I'm going to be reading a list of the local nets. We're going to start here with Monday. We have the Oak Hill Radio Club's 6-meter Monday net hosted by Rick, AI5A. That's on 50.125 megahertz at 8 p.m. Then on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. we have the Oak Hill Southside Simplex hosted by Ray, K5BZI. That's on the 146.555 megahertz frequency at 8 p.m. Also at 8 p.m. we have the DMR Soundcheck Net hosted by George, W5JDX, and Tommy, N5ZNO on the 441.300 megahertz. That's the DMR machine at 8 p.m. On Wednesdays, we have the UT Amateur Radio Club Wednesday net hosted by Kyle, KA5D, and me, Ernesto, KI5PZN. During the summer break is when we're hosting that net. The big goes around all year round. That's on the 441.325 megahertz repeater at 8 p.m. On Thursday, we have the Oak Hill CW net hosted by Pat. W5WTH, that's on 3.532 megahertz at 7:30 p.m. And at 8 p.m. we have this one, the Oak Hill Thursday night net, hosted by a different operator every week. That's on the N5OAK repeater system and the University Link repeater system at 8 p.m. On Friday, we have the Oak Hill Friday Night Trivia Net hosted by Rusty, WZ5BBS. That's on the N5OAK repeater system and the University Link repeater system at 9 p.m. On Saturday at 7 p.m., we have the Austin Amateur Radio Club Elmer's Net hosted by Jeff, N5MNW. That's on the 146.940 megahertz repeater at 7 p.m. At 9 p.m., we have the 220 megahertz Guys Original Preservation Net, hosted by Steve, KB9DSQ, and that's on the 224.100 megahertz repeater at 9 p.m. On Sundays, we have the Austin Amateur Radio Club 10-meter net hosted by Rod, W5NDS. That's on the 28.410 megahertz at 3 p.m., 28.410. At 7 p.m., we have the Travis County Area's weekly net, that's on 147.360 at 7 p.m. On 7:30, we have the Weekend Wind Down Net hosted by me, Ernesto, KI5PZN. Midea KI5SYX and on the University Link repeater system at 7:30 p.m. At 9 p.m., we have the Austin Amateur Radio Club SWATnet hosted by Jeff N5MNW on the 146.940 megahertz repeater at 9 p.m. This is KI5PZN back to net control.
Thank you, sir, for that. And don't forget, all the information you just heard from Ernesto is available on our club calendar located at n5oak.org. Just click on the calendar tab. While you're there, make sure you can subscribe to our calendar and never miss another club event. So I've tallied it up. We had 23 check-ins, and thank you to every one of those that checked in with us. This is my first Thursday night to do net control, and it's been a blast. And unfortunately, that's going to do it for tonight's Thursday Night Net. We hope y'all had a great time hanging out with us. The Thursday Night Net is a service of the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5OAK. For more information on the club, becoming a member, or to learn how you can donate, visit us online at n5oak.org. This is WZ5VBS, and it's time to bring tonight's Thursday Night Net to a close. I'm going to signal all the repeaters to switch back to regular amateur use. And while they're doing that, I would like to say thank you all for inviting us into your home tonight. Y'all have a great weekend. Be safe and stay inside. It's way too hot out here. We'll see y'all next week.
Is it all right to stand by for any contacts on the Austin UT Echo Link?
Absolutely, sir. The floor is all yours. The net is over, and we are back to regular amateur use.
All right. Well, first of all, sir, I just want to say big thanks to you for doing the net. You did a bang-up good job being your first time. So, hey, kudos to you. Anyway, yeah. So I just found this repeater, and I found the Austin Amateur Radio repeaters, so I added those to my Echo Link list, and look forward to checking into all kinds of nets. Over.
Roger. Well, if you're not doing anything tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Central Time, we got the trivia net. We broadcast on all of our room is played completely online.
Wide open as a door. Anyway, this is KG5FRQ. Roger. KG5FRQ standing by. This is KG5FRQ. We're going to go QSY. 73s to everybody, and everybody a good night. This is KG5FRQ, Kilo, Golf 5, Foxtrot, Romeo, Quebec, standing by in Carlsbad, New Mexico. Nothing heard on the Austin Amateur Radio Club. This is KG5FRQ, clear.